Make a Path presents Let's Talk.
Alright guys, I thought this was a good episode. Now, two things. One, who thought of the TV show Wings? This show is very old, so if you didn't hear of it, I'm not surprised. Sandpiper was the company that Brian and Joe, two pilots, they owned. Well, Joe owned it, and his knucklehead brother, Brian, helped him run it. Anyway, I just thought of that the moment I heard Sandpiper. Two, I'm going to ask a very important question. Well, your answer to my question is very important, and it has to do with Better Call Saul and where they're at this season and where they're going to go further on. I'm very curious about something. Something's bothering me. I want to get it off my chest, and I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. Now, let's talk. Better Call Saul, Episode 8, RICO. So it opens up and Jimmy's working in the mailroom. And unless I missed something, Lawyer Dick fires him or does something. There's something there. We didn't hear the conversation, am I correct? Because I felt like I was left out of the loop. So Lawyer Dick apparently fires him at his prime. Maybe not his prime, that was a bad way to put it, but something important. He just passed the bar. You know, he has his life in order right now, and this is the most important point in his life right now. Maybe he's in top of the world as far as he's concerned right now. They're having a party for him. Lawyer Dick comes in and he just puts the kibosh on all of that. Now, it makes me wonder because this flashback was put in this episode, and it's the same episode we get the Sandpiper fraud storyline introduction, which is building up to be something huge. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if this is as big as they're making it or if this is as big as I believe it is, but this apparently is the break that Jimmy needs desperately. The previews for the next episode make it look like Hamlin comes in and maybe Kim betrays him. Maybe his brother Chuck betrays him in a way. And I'm starting to wonder if this moment, the biggest moment in Jimmy's life right now, is going to get overshadowed by Lawyer Dick or taken away from him. Now, Lawyer Dick is established. He doesn't need this. You know, he's rich, successful. He's got it all going for him. Jimmy needs this desperately. Now, the long character development we've seen all season and the slow burn could have been designed to keep us rooting for Jimmy even after he turns to the dark side. And what I mean by that is if he does overshadow this, if Lawyer Dick does come in here and take this case from Jimmy, and Jimmy just goes from Jimmy to Saul Goodman, the slow burn and the character development could be put in here for us to keep rooting for Jimmy, even when he makes that change from being a decent guy, he's decent right now, to being Saul Goodman. And the Jimmy now we're seeing, if you look at it, there's a subtle difference between the Jimmy we see now and the Saul Goodman we get 6 years from now. It's there. It's in the fine print of his character, so to speak, but you can notice it. Now, Chuck and Kim are here for him, but for how long? And I also love the direction they're going with Chuck, man. His mental instability brings the tension, and for me it brings the suspense to some scenes. And the hint of his, you know, professionalism adds interesting weight to some of the scenes that we see, especially in his house against those lawyers. I don't believe that scene could have been as interesting as it was if it wasn't for Chuck's illness or his, you know, his mental illness, let's just call it that. Now, we also get a little bit more from Mike in this episode, and who doesn't love a little bit more of Mike? But I tell you what, the more character development we get from Mike, the more background information we get from Mike, the more heartbreaking his story seems. If you know where Mike ends up at the end of Mike's story, it's just absolutely heartbreaking. Right now, now we know he moved here for the sole purpose of helping his son's daughter and his, you know, daughter-in-law, obviously. And from the look of the next episode, we're going to get into the very interesting territory we know and love from Mike. And you know what I do want to put in here now? I am wrong. We are getting an origin story for Mike. And you know what? I'm glad I'm wrong, because I'm liking this. At first, I didn't believe it was possible. We knew he came from Philly previously, but once we started getting to know why Mike is there, it makes a lot more sense now. He got his hands dirty in Philly. He came here for a very precious purpose, to him, and it's a precious little girl. Now, and I know people are talking about the little girl not looking as old as she did or whatever, like 6 years. She doesn't look 6 years younger, you know. Here's actually an image. You can look at both of those. I just looked up the images real quick. It's up to you to guess, but guys, we can suspend disbelief a little bit. You know what I mean? We can cut them some slack a little bit. So Mike comes here and he starts this new life. You know, he got his hands dirty in the past, and now his family, the family he wants to help here, is struggling financially. So the first thing he's going to do is go out, look for work, and he's going to look for work he's good at, and that's dirty work. And that's going to lead Mike to Gus, which is fucking exciting as shit. You know, I'm actually thrilled to see that. But with my excitement, this is where I want to talk to you guys about something I think is very important, and it's somewhat affecting me when I'm watching this. And it hit me with this episode. Now, guys, I've always went to bat with the slow burn for the storytelling in Better Call Saul. Because, and I thought about this finally with this episode, it's the character development, it's the atmosphere, it's the dialogue, you know, bottom line, it's that they're all interesting to me. However, maybe it's just I wasn't anticipating such a slow burn. And I wasn't anticipating the stories going in different directions. I thought there was a criminal element coming in here and pressuring Saul, and we're going to see a change within 6 episodes. I'm talking dramatically within 6 episodes. I knew they had 2 seasons on lockdown, so there would be a slow burn here, but I did not see it being this much of a slow burn. Nacho was advertised in the images they put out by AMC, so I thought that was where they were going with it. And look, he was in a couple episodes and he's gone, you know. I still think there's a possibility he's gonna pop out of a fucking alleyway and throw Saul in a van and drive off at the end of season 1, you know, and that's our cliffhanger. I'm still waiting for him to just pop out any moment now, but he's got to come back. I don't know, I just don't get it. He's just gone for so long. You have the Kettlemans. I thought they were going to rope Saul into doing something. Now I'm thinking this Sandpiper fraud case is going to, the way I just explained it, I don't want to have to repeat myself, but you see what I mean? He's going to get this case, someone's going to take it, and it's going to transform him from Jimmy to Saul, and that's how I thought it was going to turn out. Now that's how I'm thinking it's going to turn out, and I'm starting to question how interested I am in the overall story, because I find myself saying no matter what happens, no matter how slow it gets, I'm always interested in these characters, dialogue, and atmosphere, and I will always watch. But what's bothering me is how interested I am to watch the moment it's on. I've been finding myself watching the rerun, you know, an hour or 2 hours later if I'm doing other things. And with some other episodes, some other TV shows, I need to be there the minute 1 it comes on for the very first time in the world. You know, I have to be right there. But I don't have that for Better Call Saul. I did it first, you know, first 6, 7 episodes, I was boom. But, you know, 7, 8, these past 2, I'm just... I could even watch it the next day. It's okay with me. I feel like something's missing. And I want to ask you guys that. Am I the only one? Was I just expecting something totally different and I just need to, you know, knock my shit off and just accept it for what it is? Or do you guys feel like there's just something missing? And I don't want to keep rambling on. I just want to say simply that. I love the dialogue. I love the atmosphere. I love the characters. I still feel like there's just something missing, something magnetic that just draws me to it. It's just not there within the story, the overall story. Not just one episode like Mike's episode where I was just hooked, man. But, you know, that's Mike. We just have... Criminal element is just way more interesting. Bottom line. It's just way more interesting, you know? I just want to ask you guys, how do you feel about the entire season? Also, don't forget to let me know how you feel about this episode specifically. But how do you feel so far? I know the season's almost over, so I could have probably just been a little bit more patient and waited. But I can't. I want to know how you guys feel. Leave your opinions in the comments down below. Thank you so much for your support in these videos. The view amounts keep going up, and I appreciate every share, every like. I mean, you guys are the bomb. Again, opinions in the comments section down below, because I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.